Central New York, and hello, hockey fans all across the internet, and welcome to 315 Hockey Live, brought to you by 315hockey.com and powered by My Little Falls. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and boy, do we have a fun show lined up tonight. I cannot wait to get this one started. Before we bring our guests in, though, as always, I got to bring in my sidekick, the madman of the keyboard, the guy who makes the whole 315 Hockey Live world spin around.
Something spinning.
Dave the Save Warner.
How you doing? Yeah. Trying a couple new things tonight. So we'll let people know later.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the new
doing a live stream to Apple TV now and Roku and under the name Creative Outpost. So
see, now that's a surprise to me too. You didn't tell me.
People could search for that app and load it and then watch us on Apple TV or Roku. So
wow.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Man, I tell you, the world is expanding. It's unbelievable.
Yes, it's doing something.
Yeah. Well, anyway, now that we're all over Apple TV, I'm going to bring our guests in. So our guests are from the Morrisville Mustangs Men's Hockey Team, a school that I've always, like I said, I was telling these guys earlier, my stepson played football for Morrisville, so I always have a soft spot for Morrisville in my heart. I want to bring in the assistant coach of the team, Coach Andrew Veglucci, and sophomore forward Chris Mott. How we doing, guys?
Good. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. This is great. So, guys, let's just get right into this because I always like to start our shows with our guests a little get to know you kind of thing. So, Coach, we'll start with you. How about your hockey background and your road to Morrisville?
Absolutely. Thanks, Scott. So, yeah, I'm from Long Island, so I was lucky enough to kind of play AAA hockey all the way up for the Long Island Gulls, Royals, and PAL. I made my rounds through all three Long Island teams. And then I had the opportunity to play junior hockey in my junior year of high school at 15. We had a Long Island-based hockey team from a league that no longer exists, and I played there for 2 years. Had an opportunity to go to a national championship and play for a Tier 3 national championship there, where we unfortunately lost to the Atlanta Knights at the time, who have now all these teams have morphed into that USPHL Premier NCDC teams. And then from there, kind of went out to Wisconsin, played one more year of juniors, and was at a crossroads in my career of, continuing to play 2 more years of juniors or kind of take that next step of just going to school or what it was. And the summer before my last year of juniors, I was able to work at the summer camp at my local rink. So really kind of got into the coaching a little bit. And then as I was kind of going through all this stuff in my head and deciding, what the path was, one of my Mike coaches who worked at the rink said, "Hey, we loved you at the camp. If you don't go back and play juniors, why don't you come, we'll get you allowed to start doing lessons at the rink. You can be my assistant coach." So unfortunately, it was too late to enroll in college at that point. So I did that while I was actually also getting my real estate license. So I worked real estate in the city for a year while also doing lessons and clinics and being the assistant coach of a squirt team, which then led into the next year where I coached 1 more year as an assistant and started my college education at Stony Brook University, which is another SUNY school on Long Island. I studied mechanical engineering. And then from there, I got a head coaching job in the same youth organization. And me and my dad did that together for 5 years and was lucky enough to have a great support in my dad, who handled all the hockey parents early on and really kind of taught me as being the hockey guy and him just being the dad and understanding a little bit more how to deal with kids and how to teach me how to deal with certain situations and how best to handle the kids. And going into that COVID year, it was all up in the air, and we worked really hard to get our youth team to play as many games as possible and really tried to go above and beyond with them with a really wacky year. And then the following year, I got a call from the Stony Brook head coach actually and said, "Hey, we're looking for an assistant." So last year, I had the opportunity to coach Stony Brook University, which is, for those who don't know, it's ACHA Division I, so the highest level of club, which I know Chris can attest to that. It's a high level of hockey now these days. So we went there, had a great year, was given an opportunity to really let my wings spread and have a lot of responsibility. Won a conference championship, made it to nationals, which was now the 21st year in a row for Stony Brook. They've been such a successful, top-notch program. Won our first national game, and we actually ran into Lindenwood, who was in the progression of moving to NCAA Division I this year. So they were pretty top-notch. They ended up winning the whole thing, and kind of, again, going through the summer, some up in the air, just trying to make decisions. And I had a mutual friend who was coaching in the SUNYAC for another school get me a couple interviews, and I actually had 2 Division III job offers. And after talking to Kevin, the head coach over here, and just getting to meet everybody and be on campus, I said, this is where I want to be. I want an opportunity to coach in the best conference in D3 hockey and have that challenge. And, you know, Kevin's a really easy guy to get along with. And, you know, it's been an awesome experience for me this year. He's allowed me to take a lot of responsibility, you know, and the guys that I have here, I couldn't ask for a better group of guys. Their buy-in, their respect, and they're just a lot of fun. And, you know, for me overall, it's been a great experience, and that's how we ended up here and going forward now.
Wow, that is awesome. And then the real estate license, you didn't sell any rinks though, did you?
No,
Okay,
no, it
okay.
was actually all rentals. And I'll tell you what, you really learn how to deal with different people when you work in New York City selling real estate.
I can imagine.
You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to deal with some crazy things, some crazy scenarios. I had a lady who had me on the ropes for a month showing her apartments, and I finally get her to an apartment, and she goes, she loves it. I'm like, thank God, we're finally at the end of this month. And I get a call the next day from her, and she goes, you know, I'm going to pass on the apartment. It wasn't feng shui. And I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. Because the window in her bed wouldn't face in the same direction. So I was like, you know what? Maybe hockey. Hockey is for me. Maybe hockey.
That's it.
So that was about it.
How feng shui drove me to hockey.
Yeah. Crazy.
And you say to her, let me translate for you. Power play. I'm out. See you later, right?
Oh, gee.
How about you, Chris? What's your road to Morrisville look like?
Well, I'm also a Long Island guy. So I played for PAL growing up. And then I played for the AA program until I was, I think, my senior year in high school, which was my first year of 18U. And then that's when we were also combining with the Junior Islanders. So they became the PAL Junior Islanders. And then I played there for 2 years. And then we had won 2 state championships. We won a USPHL championship. And then after that, I started out with the PAL NCDC program. And then things just I wasn't having a good time there. So then I left, ended up going to the South Shore Kings, who was also another NCDC team. And then halfway through that, I had gotten moved down to the Premier team, finished the year with the Premier team. And then I just I liked the coach at the time, and I liked a lot of the guys, and we were all planning to come back. So then my age out year, I went back to the South Shore. And then about a month into the season, I had met the old assistant coach, Chris Mott. He had approached me at a showcase. And then that's when my connection started with Morrisville. And then just as my last year juniors had progressed, he'd always be checking in on me and coming in and watching games and everything like that. And then I think December, I decided I wanted to commit to Morrisville. And then a month later, one of my teammates, Jay Kaplan, who was playing for Hampton Roads, who was another team in our conference, he committed as well. And then they were looking for another forward. So he had reached out to me and Azano. He had also reached out, and they thought it would be a good idea to get me to go down to Hampton because they were also looking for their 3rd national championship in a row. So after everything, I thought it would be a really cool idea to go play juniors and go spend some time with a guy I'm going to be spending the next 4 years with. So I went down there, and then I was only there for 10 games. We were I think we 8-2, and then we were making a playoff push, and then we won our conference. We moved up to nationals, and then we played 1 game at nationals, and then this was during the whole COVID thing. And then we drove all the way up to Massachusetts, played 1 game. After that game, in between our game and the next game, our coaches came in and was just they're shutting it all down. So,
yeah. That was so tough to get through for everybody. It just, looking back at it, all I can say is I'm so glad that part of our lives is over. That's
yeah,
for sure. But I mean, they got the Utica Junior Comets up here now too. NCDC and Premier. You ever get over there to check any of those games out yet, or?
No, never to watch any of those games. But I do have some buddies that do play on Utica College, so occasionally I've gone to go see a few of their games and go spend some time with them, which has been fun.
Markovic, Jackson Rukowski,
Osmondson.
Yeah, they went to Hampton Roads too, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
I also,
cool.
I don't know if you know Regan Kavanaugh.
Yep.
So when I was down in Hampton, I was actually fortunate enough to live with their family. So I'm pretty close with Regan and their family as well.
That's awesome.
Fun time. Yeah.
That is this. It's so, you know what, in hockey especially, it just seems like it's always such a small world, right?
Yeah.
So it's so cool. Before we move on to this, just to finish up, any early influences, favorite players for you guys?
Why don't you go, Mater? Start us up.
When I was a kid, I'd definitely say probably my favorite player was Jaromir Jagr.
Nice.
Always loved him. And then as I probably got into like my teenage years, I started to fall in love with Patty Kane. And then more recently, probably within like the last 5 or 6 years, I definitely say starting to lean more towards Patrice Bergeron and Braden Point.
Great choices. Great choices.
I would say kind of going back, Pavel Bure early. Was huge. I was always a good skater, and obviously Pavel Bure was one of those first guys that just buzzed around and flew and was just overall great skater. And being a Ranger fan, I have that picture in my house of Mike Rector stopping him on the breakaway in Game 6. So, have a little inspiration from there. But then, he got traded to the Rangers, and I got to actually watch him a couple of times in person. And, I wore number 9 my whole career, kind of based off Pavel Bure. But now currently, the league's so good. And, being a coach, it's weird, when you're a player, you're a fan, and then when you're a coach, you're still a fan, but you kind of watch the game a little bit differently. You really watch it more for the X's and O's and find the details and stuff. So now, I like to look at guys like Joe Pavelski. I think that guy's a great leader, and his net front presence. I mean, the guy's, in his upper 30s and still getting the job done, and he has such a respect amongst other guys from the league. So Joe Pavelski's definitely a guy I really appreciate and think, that's a guy that, if you can mold your game after, I think that's an easy one for sure.
Oh, for sure. And with Joe Pavelski's hand-eye coordination, he could be a major league hitter.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
There's no doubt about it. Is there anything this guy can't do, right? So.
Yeah, it's crazy. The team I played in Wisconsin was in Stevens Point. So there's obviously
there you go.
Stevens Point. And when I got there, I knew of Joe Pavelski, but Joe Pavelski was like God in this town. Yeah. It was Joe Pavelski. And that was the year, the Olympics with the Oshie shootout. And, Joe Pavelski was on that team, and it was Joe Pavelski mania in Stevens Point for the time that I was there.
Absolutely. All right, so moving right along, we'll get right into this season. So you guys are right in the thick of it to get in that SUNY AC tournament. In watching your games, I will say you guys are a very, very difficult team to play against. So, Coach, what is it about the Morrisville Mustangs that makes you guys so difficult to play against?
Yeah, I think overall the biggest thing that we came into, and this being my first year, was really setting a firm identity and what we are. And, being what Morrisville is, I think it's a great school, great education that offers a lot of different majors that other schools don't, between automotive, diesel tech, and all these blue collar things, all things that make the world go around. And that right there was the foundation of our identity. Was we're a blue collar school. Let's be blue collar. Let's be hardworking. We're a family. Let's pick each other up when we're down. Let's be tight knit. Let's be together. And that kind of set our initial foundation. And then from there, we tried to build up our hockey foundation, our hockey identity. And we kind of made it into 4 pillars, we call them. And we have this pole in our locker room that is literally holds up the building. And we put some screen printing over it. And it literally has our 4 pillars of our game. And our 4 pillars this year are effort and will. We're never going to get outworked. We're going to outwork every team. We're going to be detailed. We're going to care about where our stick position is. We're going to care about where we are on the ice. We're going to care about our changes, when we're changing, all these things. Then we talked about, hey, we're a big team. We're not the fastest team, but let's be physical. Let's be aggressive, and let's be disciplined amongst all of that. So if we're going to be physical, we still need to be disciplined. If we're going to be aggressive, we still need to be disciplined. And that's kind of our third pillar. And then our last pillar was just, we want to control the puck. We want to possess the puck. We want to cycle pucks down low. We want to contain teams in their zone. We want to change a couple times in their zone. And overall, we don't want to just be throwing pucks away. We don't want to be robotic. We want to play with confidence and play with the puck and possess the puck. And honestly, every guy's different. And I think every coach and every player will say it. Every guy comes in with a certain skill set and a certain things they do well, and they fall into different roles. But when you set your identity, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, for a player to find their role or allow them to use their skill sets within the team identity. So again, example, Mott's our fast guy. He's got a lot of skill, high energy, but he still knows that he could be high energy, use his skill, but he's doing it within our pillars, within our framework. So what it gets is everyone's still their individual, but the team's always rowing in the right direction. So if you don't have your best game, and that's happens sometimes, right, you can always fall back on those pillars. You can always work hard. You can always be physical, or you can still remember the details. You can still be disciplined. No matter what the day is, we know as a team that we're rowing in the same direction, because these are our 4 pillars. This is what holds up Morrisville hockey. And I think as, no team comes into our games and leaves and goes, I don't know what that team is. I don't know what they do. Every team leaves our building or any building we go into, when they're done playing us, they know this is what Morrisville is. This is how they play. This is their identity. And I think that's huge, setting an identity. And you see it even in the NHL, the teams that are successful right now, the Bruins, even St. Louis, last year playing Colorado in that first round, they probably gave Colorado the hardest series throughout the whole playoffs. But St. Louis knows what they are. They want to play down low. They want to play below the dots. They want to cycle pucks. They know who they are, which allows them to be successful because everyone is on the same page constantly.
Oh, absolutely. And it just seems like you guys, your motor is going for 60 minutes. There's absolutely no getting around that. How about you, Mats? What about what makes it so tough from your perspective?
I think it starts with like the depth. Like I think we have 4 lines deep every single game, and there's like honestly not many scenarios where you can't put anybody out there on the ice to go get a job done. And like I think like this year we've definitely structured more, but we've also added in more freedom to our offensive zone, and I do think that gives guys like less off their shoulders and stuff like that. So they do have that ability to go and play within our pillars, but be able to have that freedom to do their own skill and play their game. I definitely think like we're running more practices that are more game like than we were last year. And I think after like guys realizing that, hey, this is correlation to the game, and being able being around that all the time, it just always has you in a constant game mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, you guys got a big win about a month or so ago. You went into Oswego. They were ranked, I think they were 8th at the time when you guys went up there. It was their teddy bear toss night, and you guys, clamped it down, 3-1 win. Take us through that game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, obviously it's always that's just such fun atmosphere to kind of be a part of, like got the whole Jumbotron with the screen on before the games and stuff like that, like 2,500 fans, and it's like also like in the back of your head, you're kind of saying to yourself like, hey, these guys picked us to be their teddy bear toss night. So it's kind of like a little bit of a slap in the face, and you kind of want to play with a chip on your shoulder. And I think that's exactly what we did. And we just we knew what we had to do. And we had 2 goals within the first 6-7 minutes of the game. And after that, I think they had no idea what hit them. And I just remember probably within 10 minutes of the game, Coach Andrew just like, look at their bench, and they are all just standing up on the bench, absolutely shook. They don't know what's going on. They're just scrambling, and we were all just calm, composed, and just going out there shift by shift and just kind of making sure our job got done. And then towards the end of the game, we were killing a penalty. I believe we had not gotten the empty net goal yet, but just after the game, talking to a couple of the guys who weren't playing, one of my teammates, Matteo de Blasio, he was saying that while we were killing the penalty, he was like, I wasn't even nervous at all. Like I had no doubt in my mind we were going to kill this penalty and get it off, just how we just played a full 60 minutes and there was no question that we weren't going to win.
Yeah. How about you, Coach?
Yeah, it was definitely for me, first time being in Oswego, it was definitely an awesome experience. And, like Mater said, I'm always a believer in my crazy head. I think we can win every game. I don't care if we're playing the New York Rangers or, we're playing Oswego or whoever it is. I believe in the guys we have here. And and the coaching staff and everyone who's a part of this, from our trainers and our strength and conditioning coach, everyone's a part of those types of wins. So I went in there knowing we were going to beat that team. And I know that may sound a little, stuck up, but, I believe in our guys and what we're doing. And again, they came in and just did what they do every night. They came in, they played hard, they played to our identity. And again, it was fun. It was a great atmosphere. We had great goaltending. I think Ryan Greenan just had a really good game, and we had guys just step up, for the first time. I think it was like 10 years the first time we've beaten them in their building. And for us, that's a huge win. But if you look back at even all of our games against our top 10 opponents, from our Geneseo games, we just went last week and took Geneseo to a tie game with 4 minutes left until we go down 5-on-3, and it's a battle. And if you ask us, we outplay them in the first, we battle in the second, and we come back in the third. And even against Plattsburgh, down 3-1, come all the way back, storming back. It took them to the last 30 seconds to beat us. So for us, it's not so much as big of a deal, but an expectation to go and compete against those teams and beat those teams, because that's the type of teams we want to be considered to be a part of, and that's the type of teams that we want to get to and be a part of. And those are the teams that go to nationals and win national championships. Geneseo lost to Adrian last year. We want to be a part of those teams, and we believe we can compete against those teams and that we're as good as those teams, and we want to show that every night, and we think we, to a point, have shown it. And it's time to now, we get a couple more tries with Oswego and Plattsburgh coming up before playoffs, that we can come in and beat a couple more top 10 teams, because we have the guys who buy in and work hard. So for us, it's a big win, but we want to be a part of those teams, and we believe we're a part of those teams. And if we go and play our game to our ability, we're right there with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And in looking at your scores for this season, 75% of the games that you've lost have been by 1 goal.
Yeah.
So you've been right there all season, really. So, I mean, yeah, that speaks volume to what you just said.
Yeah, and I think, one of the big things, like Mott kind of touched on, is just guys playing with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more freedom this year. And, there's a growing pain to some of that sometimes. And the big thing that even right now we're harping on as we're going for a playoff push is, the details and what are the details of winning? What does it take to win a hockey game? And being in the best conference in D3 hockey, that line is very fine, as we've seen through the 1-goal losses and losses with 30 seconds left, or wins where we're holding teams off with 30 seconds left. So for us right now, it's just learning that last little bit, right? Having the discipline at the end of the game, having the awareness of knowing what the situation is, and really knowing that the details in those tight games get heightened, right? Especially against those good teams. So for us, we're right there. We think we are so close, and it's just that last little puzzle piece. And once we hit it, and we're hoping to hit it Saturday against Buff State, I know once we get in the playoffs, which I believe we'll make, I know no one really wants to see us in the playoffs. I know with that they have all the teams that we're probably one that they're like, let's not get Moville. Let's hope they don't even make the playoffs this year.
So I do have to ask you guys, because I mean, every game is huge. There is no such thing as a not important game.
Yep.
But is there any particular opponent or opponents that you guys circle the calendar and go, yeah, this is the one we can't wait for? Like I said, there are times you're like, no, they're all huge, and they're right. They're right. But I was just wondering if there's just one particular opponent that, like, oh boy, I can't wait to get to those guys.
I don't know. I'd probably say the Oswego game, like just play Oswego, Geneseo, Plattsburgh, just all of their games playing in their rinks. It's always like, because they're always pretty close to selling out their games, and it's just it's always fun, like being an underdog, and you get all these fans yelling at you, heckling you, and stuff like that. I love those experiences, and it's just kind of fun just being a part of it all.
Yeah, I'll be honest. For me, it's the next one. I mean, I get to coach hockey for a living. I mean, I get a pretty good gig at the end of the day. So, any day to coach hockey is a blessing. So, I'm good with the next one. I don't even care.
No, that's and believe me, I get that answer a lot. Trust me, it's true. It's true. But I always just like to see the reaction. That's so just like a generalized hockey question here. And Barry wants to know, what is the largest arena you've played in on the road? Interesting question, actually.
I guess for this year it'd be Oswego for sure.
I'd say Oswego or Plattsburgh. Yeah, I think they both are probably right around that 2,000 to 2,500 seat range. So,
and I believe that was 2 years ago, Marty. You guys went and played Utica. I know Utica has a pretty big.
That was the year before. I wasn't
before.
there. Yeah.
So Utica, who Kevin Krogo, he's an alumni of the Utica program, and we're actually going to go play them in preseason next year. I know they have a pretty big barn. They play right out of the Utica Comets arena. So I guess next year our answer will be the Utica's rink.
Nice. Yeah, they seat about 4,000 for hockey. So
yeah,
pretty cool. Just a generalized question for you guys. Is there any rule changes or any changes in the game in general you'd like to see?
One of the big things that I like that college actually does, and I would like to see the NHL kind of go to this rule, is on a delayed penalty, if we score, we still get the power play. So if there's a delayed penalty and we score, we still get the power play. And I would love to kind of see that kind of translated in the NHL. Give a lot more opportunity to a little bit more higher scoring games, but make that guy pulling the goalie and guy getting on the ice have a little bit more sense of urgency and meaning. Instead of just guy gets to the bench and they turn the puck over and it's no big deal. Whereas us, we know we get that puck on a delayed penalty. We're like, hey, let's bury one right now and then take the power play. So I definitely think that's something that college does that I really like, and would kind of love to see the NHL adapt and see how it works at that level for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Motter?
I think the delay of game, like right now, obviously it's no change, but I think it'd be kind of interesting to see how that would be if it turns into penalties. But that's probably about it. But I think last year, I mean, I'm not sure it was before, but as my first year playing last year, they introduced the face-offs now, so they don't kick out the center. You get the 2 strikes, and then if you get that second strike, it becomes a penalty too. That was definitely an adjustment to, and it's also like time. Like I think you have 5 seconds after they blow that whistle and kind of put you on the spot to just got to make sure everybody's ready. Everybody's just getting ready for the face-off. But
yeah, I know that's been an ongoing thing for the past couple of years too, with the face-offs. To get more and more stringent with it, and that's all levels, not just college, but I mean all the way up through the AHL and the NHL. Like you go to a Utica Comets game, and if they don't drop that puck in time, the crowd just goes insane.
Yeah. I know I'm going. Sure.
So let's have a little bit of fun here. So I always like to, throw these wacky questions in at you guys. So we'll start with an easy one. Who's got the best nickname on the team?
It doesn't look easy. They're both sweating.
I got a new one that it's actually funny. We just hired a play-by-play person for our live.
Oh, really? Oh, sweet.
And he's new to it, and he's been doing a great job. But number 4, Dominic Della Savita, has now been termed by our new play-by-play announcer as DDC. I'm not sure if Dom likes it or not, but I'll tell you what, when he says it every time he touches the puck on our live stream, I take a chuckle. So DDC, maybe not accepted by everyone, but definitely gives me a laugh for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Motter?
Try to go around the locker room. See everybody.
Or just invent one and then you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'd probably have to go with one of our defensemen's, number 11. I guess it's his parents. He's like has a hyphenated last name, and it's Farmer Valente. But he has gone his entire life always being called like James or Valente. But for some reason, when he came here, we just started calling him Farmer, and he just comes and Farmer.
That's awesome.
But he also does make a little music on the side, and he has his own little nickname he calls himself, but some guys call him that, and he calls him the Feaster. So I guess I'd give him that one too.
Yeah.
You're there. You can call him DJ Farmer.
Yeah, that too.
Warning to all any youngins and age appropriate. The V-Star is, I would definitely say 18 plus. He does a great job, but just want to put that out to the parents now, just so we make sure we're not getting anybody in trouble. That's for sure.
This is the internet. You can say anything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But there are kids watching, so
Yes, so important to me.
Exactly. And just real quick before we continue, you mentioned the live stream. You can get that at MorrisvilleMustangs.com, right?
Awesome.
Click through
Yes,
the schedule.
live stream is all. You go right to our schedule. There's a watch button. You can hit the watch button. We also put the live stream links on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram bio. And we put that out every day before a game and every day of the game. So, very accessible if you're not able to get to the Iceplex. We'd love to even have you guys watch and support us in any way possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so I got another one, real wacky one. Now, listen, I'm a pro wrestling fan. I love pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So I want to know from you guys, which member of the team would most likely to become a WWE pro wrestler?
So when we had talked on the phone before this and you kind of just going through some of the questions, my mind immediately went to number 14, Jensen Dodge. I know Modder can attest to this. This kid is built like a house. And I know he has a little MMA background. And I was like, yeah, this kid definitely, like, put him in the ring, like, no one's losing. And then I was like, well, that's a little bit more UFC. Like, I think he'd actually kill somebody. I was like, okay, WWE is a little bit more entertainment. So going back to who Mater just mentioned was Farmer. And I was like, this kid is Ric Flair to a T. He's got the big fur coat. He'll wear the fur coat around campus. You'll see him in the big fur coat. He'll come in with the shades. He's a rapper. He has the personality to back it up. But I mean, in all honesty, if I'm the WWE in 2 years, I'm picking up the phone and calling this kid because he can just be Ric Flair 2.0 for sure. He's an entertainer. Absolutely. No doubt.
Mater, do you agree?
I do agree. But yeah, for him mentioning number 14, Jensen Dodge. Yeah, Jensen Dodge, I think I would put money on him in like an actual UFC fight too when he's a scary person. But I'd definitely say for WWE, either Farmer or back to number 4, Dom Della Savita. He's a clown. He's just yelling before games and getting everybody fired up and stuff. He's a character to be around.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. Guys, I can't begin to tell you how much fun this has been. And I want to close out by, you guys do a lot for the community as well. And Barry Shelley actually asked about the jersey behind you there, Coach. That's the Center State hockey jersey.
Yeah, and he had this one too, so get that one.
Oh, a lot of colleges around here don't offer scholarships for hockey. Does Morrisville?
No, being D3,
Right.
being the NCAA rules, there's only D1 and D3 hockey. So the designation is D1 is allowed to offer those athletic scholarships. NCAA D3 is not. But we try to find kids money in the ways of academics. So, kids who are listening, when your parents tell you to do well in school, we really mean that, guys, because to be honest with you, for you to do well in school, you not just are doing well in school to do well in school and learn and become a better student, you're overall increasing your chances of playing college hockey. I do camps over the summer, and these are a lot of the things we try to talk to the young kids about and trying to prepare them for those college hockey steps. And the big thing we tell them is why school is so important. If you look at conferences at D1, like Yale and all those schools, they're not able to give athletic scholarships. So if you're not a smart enough kid, you can cross Yale and Princeton and all those schools right off your list. So now all of a sudden, not only are you competing against the whole world, you just cross 6 schools off your list. Even at the D3 level, one of my buddies just got a job at Hamilton College, which are members of the NESCAC. And I remember going to the first showcase with him this year, and all he's looking at on the piece of paper are the grades. And he's just crossing kids out that he knows he can't get into his school. So again, if you're one of those kids that, doesn't do well in school, well, you can cross Hamilton off your list. You can cross Bowdoin off your list. You can cross the entire NESCAC off your list. So a big thing is, guys, do well in school. And then again, do well in school, because if you come to our school, we can get you an academic scholarship. We can get you academic grants, and we can cut that price down in that way. So that's a big emphasis for us as coaches. And I think it should be a big emphasis for any youth hockey coaches, any parents, any teachers, that school and hockey still go hand in hand. You don't want to, derail your career or shrink your options because you didn't put the effort in the classroom. So to answer that question in a long way, no, we don't offer athletic scholarships, but we have academic grants, we have financial aid, we have all those options. So again, do well in school so that you have those opportunities in the future and you have the most opportunities. Don't shrink your opportunities down to only a few schools because you didn't take care of business in the classroom.
That is some excellent advice right there. That really is. And it rings so true. It does, because I mean, it's so hard to make it into professional sports, and coaches to piggyback on that. Obviously if you've got a good educational background, a
Yep.
good college degree, you can go anywhere you want to go.
Absolutely. Life after hockey happens for everybody. And again, you want to set yourself up to be a successful person after the game is done, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, we're speaking to the little kids. Tell us about the game you got coming up for February 3rd.
Yeah, just to kind of give a little background, Center State Stampede is a youth hockey organization that plays out of the Iceplex, which is our rink on campus. They've been around for a very long time. And unfortunately, kind of through COVID, and we used to be a 2-sheet facility, and now we're down to 1. The Center State Stampede program really took a hard hit. Through COVID, when other youth teams were starting to start up, because our rink was on campus, and it being a state rink, our rink didn't open, so they lost that ice opportunity. And then the next year, we turned one of our rinks into a new rec center that just opened actually this semester, which is a great, tool now for all the students of Morrisville. But again, another hit that the Center State organization really took. So a big thing for me this year coming in as my first year with Morrisville was trying to repair that bridge a little bit. I'm a big believer that as college coaches, professional coaches, whatever it may be, we're in a power position in hockey, and we have a responsibility to grow the game, and that starts at the youngest level. So although I'm a college coach, my responsibility doesn't end with my 30 guys, in my opinion. My responsibility is to teach our guys, develop our guys, create a good program at Morrisville, but also create more hockey players and really give back to the youth programs and give back to the game. So this year we really made a hard push to be consistent and be on top of things. So every week we work with Center State Stampede's Learn to Play programs, their MITE programs, their Pee Wee programs, their Bantam programs. I'm on the ice at least once or twice a week. All of our guys are signing up. We have 2-3 guys at every Learn to Play, 2-3 guys at every MITE program every weekend. And the big thing this year is we've been really, really super consistent about being helpful. And the feedback and the appreciation that we've gotten from our youth hockey community has been immense. They have been at all of our home games. They've been supportive, and I know our guys have loved the opportunity to work with these kids and create that connection and be able to give back to the game themselves. So early in the year, I was able to kind of talk to the board and be like, "Hey, what else can we do for you outside of just helping on the ice?" And they were like, the big thing for us is showing that we're still here, and that the school supports us, right? And repairing that bridge. And one day I walked into the office, and we always do a charity game every year. And Kevin, our head coach, goes, "Why don't we do a Center State game this year?" And that's where it kind of all started. So our big game on February 3rd, so next Friday, not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday, February 3rd at 7 p.m., will be our Center State Stampede charity game. We will be wearing these special jerseys, which I'll kind of get out of the way to showcase a little bit.
Those are sharp.
We have a different logo. So this is actually the horse head that Center State uses, and we kind of replaced their horse head in the middle of their logo and put our horse head. And then we also just put our slogan, "Run as One," which is our athletic department slogan, on the back. And we will be wearing these jerseys for our game against Canton. And then we will be auctioning them off starting tomorrow, being the first day that the auction opens, auctioning off these jerseys and then donating that money back to the Center State community and giving back to their team so that they can be used to hopefully regrow their program. But overall, the biggest thing that we wanted to show by having this game was Center State Stampede are still here. They're still there. They're still in the Iceplex. They have both hockey programs, both the men's and women's hockey program, backing them up, and they do have the SUNY Morrisville school support. So it's just a show of the bridge is mended. Everyone's on the same page. We're supporting, they're there. So if you're a person in Central New York and you're looking for a program, Center State Stampede is here. We're here working with it on a weekly basis. They're here to stay, and our school is on top of staying. And we're going to do everything we can, even more initiatives in the future to work with them and help regrow their program to what it once was. And we're really excited for the opportunity to do it. The jerseys look really cool. We're excited.
They are. Those are awesome.
But again, it was just a really good opportunity for us to repair a bridge, our bridge with the community and show to everyone outside in the hockey community in Central New York that Center State's still here. They have the support, and they're going to be around for a very long time for sure.
That is so awesome. That really is. And so Center State has a website, and I'll get that into the bio for the show so that and how would that be the website to go to for the auction?
No, so the auction will go to any of our social medias, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, or our Instagram page. The auction will be opening up tomorrow. So actually, the launch of our jerseys for the whole world to see will be tomorrow. So actually, the 315 podcast actually got a little preview. So if you're a fan of the podcast, you're lucky.
There we go.
Breaking news. We like
jerseys. But we'll be posting these jerseys tomorrow on our Instagram for the big reveal, and the auction will be opening up. And basically, all you have to do is how the bids will work is if $250 bid will be a buy now price. So if you want to buy it now and not even auction against anybody, not even worry about it, $250 and it's yours, and that all goes back to Center State. Our lowest bid number is $75, and all you have to do is send me an email at Veglucca, Vegluca at morrisville.edu. Send me an email with your bid. We'll be updating the bids on all of our social media throughout the whole week up into our game next week. And then from there, again, hopefully we raise a lot of money for this great cause and give back to the kids and really help this program regrow and continue to make it a great place to play hockey at the Iceplex.
We will absolutely get the word out about that. And you know what you guys got to do? You got to have Farmer model them.
That would be.
We'll get the fur coat over it.
Yeah.
You gotta get Barry to buy one for the Rink of Dreams. He's got to do a buy
there you go, right?
Of those, right? Yeah,
we like it.
That's great. That is so awesome. And Coach, I just want to touch back too. You had mentioned summer camps, so that's obviously through Center State. And so how would a youth register for something like that?
Yeah, so that's any camps that we run with Center State or any Morrisville Mustang camps that we run in the future, all of that stuff will be posted on the Iceplex website, so our actual rinks website, and they'll have places for you to register there. You'll see that stuff start to pop up over the next month or so. All of our camp dates and stuff like that will be popping up on the Iceplex website. And I said, myself, Kevin Crowe, the head coach, a lot of our players will be running and working with that. We'll have our goalies be there to work with goalies, and we'll have that goalie-specific training. But you can find that stuff on the Iceplex website, and that will be updated within the next month or so with dates for the spring and summer.
Awesome. We will certainly get the word out for that. Guys, I can't begin to thank you enough for coming on. So we mentioned the socials. Mater, let's close this one out by you telling us where we can find those Morrisville Mustangs on the socials.
Pressure's on.
What was that? I didn't hear that last part. What did you say?
No, I didn't hear anything. No, just tell us where you can find the Morrisville Mustangs on the socials.
Our Instagram is Morrisville Mens Hockey. I believe our Twitter is Morrisville HKY, and I think that's about it.
I think Facebook Mustangs Hockey, I believe, too.
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah.
And if you're going on Twitter, make sure you use #RunAsOne.
Correct.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, again, thank you so much. And I can't wait to get back out to the Iceplex to see another game. I love that place, and it's always a good time coming out there. And, of course, you guys are doing fantastic things out there and doing fantastic things for the kids in the area. And we just can't thank you enough.
We appreciate it, and again, we hope to see anyone who can come out and support Friday, February 3rd at 7. We want to really fill the barn for this event, so please come. All that information, again, is on our website, so we appreciate everyone's support up to this point.
Absolutely. Thanks, gentlemen. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. That was awesome. And Dave, that is just fantastic what they do for the kids out there.
I know it is.
That really is, because, we talk about youth hockey and we talk about stuff for the kids all the time. And, we kind of tend to center in around Utica Rome area.
Yeah.
It's right there down the road.
Yeah.
Down in Morrisville. It's only an hour down the road, really. And all kinds of great hockey happening there too.
It's amazing how big Central New York is.
It is. And the amount of hockey that's here too.
Exactly.
It really is. So,
I was on Barry's case here, and he said he's got a jersey just like that one on the screen.
Why does that not surprise me?
I know. I just.
Why is this not surprising at all?
If anybody's got a jersey, Barry does.
Yeah, exactly. Oh boy. Well, you know what? Too. speaking of Barry, his New Jersey Warriors game going to be going
know.
on 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, it's coming up
3
pretty
weeks.
quickly.
It's coming. It's coming. He's got all kinds. Well, I tell you, you get on that Rink of Dreams group in Facebook.
Yeah,
he's got so much stuff lined up. I don't think the Warriors are going to want to leave as soon as they come here.
Yeah,
I
think he's got the whole city behind him now.
I think he's got the whole region behind him.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Good for him. That's awesome. That really is awesome. We'll keep people updated on that as it gets closer. But for now, let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to wrap up what's going on in Central New York, and we'll call it a night. Maybe.
I had to
visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back with segment 2 of 315 Hockey Live. We're going to kind of wrap up the previous weekend because I'll tell you, Dave, there was so many awesome things that happened in Central New York hockey last weekend.
You were doing a lot of writing. I know that.
Ooh, well, yeah, but it was all good writing, though.
Okay.
It was awesome, Oh, and you know what? And I forgot to put my phone on.
I was like, where'd that ding come from?
Yeah. Well, listen, again, it wouldn't be one of our shows unless something.
We almost made it all the way
I know.
through.
We did it through segment 1 anyway.
Yeah.
So that's anyways, we were mentioning the Utica Pioneers there when we were talking earlier. They're the new number 1 team in the country, Dave.
I saw that.
Division
Awesome.
3 number 1. It's amazing. That really is. And it's the first time in program history they've been number 1, and it's the first time a team from the UCHC, the conference they play in, has been number 1. So it's awesome. It really is.
Congratulations to them. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a pair of games against Nazareth this weekend, another UCHC foe. But boy, I tell you, that team is starting to gel at the right time going into the tournament. So, or heading towards the tournament. So, Scott, where do you find the time to do your full-time job? Well, I don't sleep a lot, Barry. So I might slowly be turning into a vampire. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. An awful lot of content.
Yeah. Well, and even more is coming because piggybacking on that, Saturday night, the Colgate Raiders men's hockey team knocked off the number 1 team in the country, the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Matter of fact, they're no longer the number 1 team in the country because the Raiders had a hand in knocking them out of there. What a game that was. I had to watch that on my computer because I couldn't make the game because, well, we were talking about that full-time job.
Yeah, so it had to work. Gee, what is that?
Imagine that, right? I had to put the bills or put the roof over the head. But anyways, no, what a game that was. That was the Raiders were down in that game. They were down 2-0. And when you're playing a team like Quinnipiac, you get down 2-0. That's tough. That's a tall order. And they came back, they tied the game, and then they took the lead, of course. And then in that last 5 minutes, Quinnipiac threw everything, including the kitchen sink at the Raiders. And Carter Guylander, their goalie, was just phenomenal.
Wow,
phenomenal! Just stopped everything. The guy looked like Gumby in that. Just stopping everything. And then just when he covers the puck in the closing seconds, right? Horn goes, everybody's going crazy. Then all of a sudden the refs are going, oh, wait a minute, hold on, hold the phone. They go because at Colgate, you have to go into the tunnel to look at the video review.
Right.
And everybody's going, what's going on here? The puck didn't go in. There was a big pileup in the crease, but there was no way it went in.
Right.
And then it was like Jeopardy, final Jeopardy. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, what's going on here? Long story short, they ended up putting another 1.4 seconds back on the clock. They had to do another face-off, which kind of dribbled off into the corner, and then that was it.
And then it was it. Yeah.
Yeah, Colgate won. So it was just incredible. And, Colgate, let's see, Quinnipiac couldn't leave our You ain't kidding, Josh. They wanted out. I'll tell you, if they were taking a bus, I think they got a plane just to get out here as fast as they could. But But no, seriously, I got an article coming out tomorrow morning, 315 Hockey Live or 315hockey.com, basically saying don't sleep on Colgate. Don't, because, and like we were talking earlier, once you get into that tournament play, you got to get in.
Yeah.
And they're sitting at 4th in the ECAC right now. They got a very good conference record. And I'll tell you, this is a team that has a very well-rounded team. Another one of those teams that might be getting starting to gel and get hot right at the right time. They got a tough game tomorrow. They got to go to Harvard, who's ranked 10th. But you know what? You knock off the 10th team in the country. And they already did it once, by the way. They beat them in Colgate earlier in the season. So you do that, you start building up some even more confidence, and look out.
It might be pretty confident just going in right now.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. That's awesome for them. It really is. So, good on Coach Vaughn's team, and it's just, keep going. Go Gate. So, anyways, speaking of big games, last Tuesday night, there was another huge one. This one was at the Nexus Center. The number 7 ranked Hamilton College women's team took on the number 13th ranked Utica Pioneers. We had the Hamilton College ladies on last week, and wow, what a game that was too. My goodness. Hamilton just threw everything they had at the Pioneers. I mean, they outshot the Pioneers. It was like 54-11.
More sinks.
What's that?
More sinks.
I don't think there was any sinks left. But I'll tell you, that they went up 2-0. The Pioneers did tie it up in the third. Went to overtime. Nothing was settled, but 2 players that stood out for me there. For one, Utica goaltender Angela Hawthorne, who's been amazing all season long. She's easily been a top 3 goaltender in all Division III all season. She was outstanding. I mean, she made 52 saves, and believe me, they weren't easy saves. Hamilton did not make life easy on the Pioneers one bit. I mean, they were just, they played their game. And on the Hamilton side, Abby Coons, who was on the show the first time there.
Yeah.
All world. She was phenomenal.
Wow.
She had 11 shots on goal. She had a goal. She had an assist, and she just drove that offense all night long. So, Central New York is very fortunate. I'm telling you right now, to have the hockey that we have in this area, because I mean, not just Utica Rome area, but you go out to the Colgates and the Morrisvilles and all that. What just a great time to be a hockey fan here in Central New York.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Let's wrap this up by telling everybody that, well, tomorrow night, the Comets and the Crunch play again.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go again. Right?
So it was great to watch the comments on Facebook.
Yeah, I know. Yep, this time it's in Syracuse. So that's up there at the I've always called it the War Memorial. It's the Upstate Medical University Arena.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, hey, listen, naming rights, man.
Sponsorships, yeah.
Naming rights.
But
you know what? I don't know if you saw it or not. The Crunch had a knockout poker tournament the other night.
I didn't see that,
at the Turning Stone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a benefit kind of thing.
Right.
So I don't know how you would, people got signed up for it and stuff like that. And then obviously you buy into play. And then as you beat the Crunch player you were matched up with, you got his jersey.
Physically beat them? Or
no.
We were on the WWE.
I was just going to say, I think we got your mind all screwed up talking about that. But
sorry.
But
I had the fur coat ready to go.
Yeah. No. They had the knockout tournament there, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's again something different. And then the Comets this week, last night, they wore their Save of the Day jerseys. Those jet black jerseys with the neon, not neon, but like the red lettering.
Yeah.
It kind of really sticks out. And so they wore those last night. Then we wore them again Saturday night. And just like with Morrisville, they're going to be auctioning those jerseys off for the Save the Day Foundation. And cool things.
Yeah. So I got a buyout on them.
Yeah, right.
See, Barry's writing his $250 check now.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, let's wrap this up. I do want to let everybody know to make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at 315 Hockey. I'm putting up the daily schedule and scoreboard. So you want to know what's going on in Central New York hockey, all the way from the AHL to college, high school, juniors. We're putting it out there on our socials. So go ahead and follow that and check it out. And we'd appreciate it if you check 315hockey.com every day, because we're putting out new content every day. All right. So for Dave the Save Warner, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week on 315 Hockey Live.